Hello everyone, my name is BoisterousBiddy, voice of Officer Tragus, and
Chief Derricks,
and some other random voices, and welcome to the long-awaited third installment of the Husky Raid Film School. In this episode, we're going to be talking about filming in PvP, aka the Crucible, aka private matches. Unless you were wanting to actually film in the real Crucible, where all the people are trying to kill you, but I don't think it's going to work out for you. In the last episode of Husky Raid Film School, we learned that filming in PvE is pretty much terrible due to all the uncontrollable factors. Essentially, the combination of fluctuating daylight, random players who decide they want to be your friend, and having to avoid enemies make the PvE experience pretty annoying to deal with. The beautiful thing about filming in private matches is those worries are gone. When Bungie announced private matches, it was pretty much a godsend to machinima makers, simply because of how it changed the efficiency of filming. It also opened up a whole new world of options, simply because you could now kill other Guardians on screen instead of trying to figure out how to cleverly cut away when people quote-unquote died. The first half of this video will be some of the generalities about filming in the Crucible, and the second half will be all the nitty-gritty details you need to know, especially since there are a lot of nuances you should know about filming in private matches, because it's just going to make it a lot more efficient for you when you go in, so we're going to spend some time there. So starting off, when you're thinking about where you want to film something, maybe you have a script, maybe you don't, the first question you should always ask yourself is, can I film this in private matches? For us and what we make, the answer to that question is almost always yes. If you can make something happen in the Crucible, do it. It should be step one. Look and see if you can film it in the Crucible. You'll save a ton of headache. Plus, if you're new to filming, it'll be a great place to get a good grasp of what filming feels like, so you can be more efficient and prepared when you decide to go film in the unpredictable hell that is the PvE environment. So really, the only reasons not to choose private matches to film in is when you've already tried to find the location in PvP and failed, or you need a specific location in PvE that you already know about, or you're just willing to deal with the hassle of PvE and you have time to spare and you have pretty much decided that you're going to regret it later anyways. Positives. Generally, the big positive points for private match filming purposes are you have more control over your environment, you can have up to 11 people in one scene, it's more efficient, you can kill people on screen. A lot of these things are pretty self-explanatory when looking at the options, so let's look at some of these details when you're in orbit at the loading screen. First, you have a ton of locations to choose from. Neat. Game type. This is what I was talking about earlier for why PvP is better. There is no control in PvE, and as you can see very clearly right here, in PvP, you have control. Sorry. So there are a million game types to choose from in PvP, and really, you only need to care about a couple. My personal go-to is Mayhem Clash. You get all your abilities super fast, which is incredible for efficiency. Back when PvE was the only option, if you needed someone to super, you only had like one chance every 4 minutes or so to get the good shot. Then if you needed it again, which was pretty much always, you had to have them change into tier 5 intellect gear between shots to try and speed things up a bit, and it was a nightmare. So having abilities available constantly is a huge benefit. Other game modes have random benefits like Control having a cap point and Supremacy having crests, but really for our purposes we rarely use any other game type other than Mayhem Clash, and if you need something specific you can go and use one of these other game types. Stay away from Rumble because, as I'll show you later, it's pretty annoying filming people who aren't on your team. Time of day. This is huge. In PvE, a lot of times it takes forever to shoot one scene based on things you can't control. Because of that, you'll shoot one part of a scene and then 10 minutes later it's nighttime and it looks terrible, but you're forced to keep filming because of time constraints. Now you don't have to worry about that. If you want nighttime, you can have nighttime. If you don't like the way the sun looks, you have morning and afternoon options, and you can see the difference. Some maps even have more than just morning and afternoon, and that is bae. Not all maps have this option. Ammo. You can have or not have special or heavy. If you don't need heavy or special, it's convenient to deselect these so Shaxx doesn't come out of nowhere saying heavy ammo available in the middle of a shot you need the in-game audio for. Respawn timer, if you need a ghost to hang around longer or shorter, this is the option for you. Okay, some more details about going in. If at all possible, you want to have everybody on your same team when you're filming. Filming somebody on the opposite team is pretty annoying. So if you're loading into a match and you have 6 or less people, you should all be on the same team. If nobody needs to die in your scene, this is the thing to do. What happens if you have people on the other team while filming? Things like aim assist come into play. They'll flash red when you first see them, and your camera will stick to them if you are moving. This is a very important point, so I'll say it again. If you are moving at all, your camera will stick to them as they move. So if you need a shot with an enemy in it, either keep your crosshairs away or be completely still so it doesn't ruin your shot. Here's a clip showing it. Here the guy's moving and I'm moving and my camera sticks, and then he does the same thing and I'm not moving at all. Beautiful. Team switching is a thing in the game, which is really handy if you have more than 6 people and people need to die or things like that. So what you do is you just pull up your ghost and hold the D-pad button. One thing to avoid is if you have 2 teams and suddenly everyone switched to the same team, the match will end. Timing. This is a good place to talk about how to be as efficient as possible. This part is probably the most important part of this entire video because it's the part that's going to save you the most time. Okay, for choices here, you're going to pick 30 minutes, that's a no-brainer. You may think 30 minutes is a lot of time, but in the world of filming, 30 minutes feels like 10. So how you make the most of this time really relies on one simple concept, which is don't get kicked. This is one of the other positives for PvE, because in PvE you can load into patrol and stand in one spot for like 7 hours before the game decides you're inactive. In Crucible you have like 20 seconds of standing alone not doing anything before Destiny decides you are AFKing in Crucible, which is a huge no-no, and they kick you to orbit. Then you have to come back in, and if you had heavy ammo or something, now you don't, and a bunch of time was just wasted. The best way we've found that prevents this from happening is after every shot or two, the camera person says something that signifies that the shot is over, and everyone shoots their guns and moves around a little bit. Very important to do those 2 things, because if you just shoot or just move, it's not going to work. As the camera person, you're most likely going to be moving around enough, but you still need to shoot. So if you don't have your gun because you did the no gun trick, all you need to do is pull the trigger every once in a while. This counts as shooting your gun even though you didn't shoot anything and nothing happened. Popping your super and throwing grenades also works as shooting your gun. Also, shooting other people counts for this as well for the person you shot. So if someone has been away from the keyboard or you're worried the camera person hasn't been pressing the trigger, shoot them so they don't get kicked. Honestly, you'll never completely get rid of this problem because it happens all the time, but the more proactive you are about it, the less it will happen and the more efficient you will be. That's pretty much all I got for the PvP portion of the Husky Raid Film School. I hope it was helpful. Like I said in the beginning, there's a lot of little nuances to filming in PvP, but it really, as a whole, is a much better experience for filming because you have more control over your environment, which is huge. So, thanks for watching this episode of the Husky Raid Film School. My name is, of course, BoisterousBiddy. If you have any more questions, go ahead and comment below, and we will try and answer anything you have. And reach out to us whenever you can. We love to be helpful to people about this, and we're also always in the process of learning more, so if you have any knowledge to give, that is welcome as well. And that is episode 3 of Husky Raid Film School.
Who needs sleep when you can party?